Holds it. That was an amazing run. Oh, my brain! Oh, are you serious?
Welcome to the world of X Games.
The Desert Assassins started Baja Adventures back in 2004, and our Cabo-bound dirt bike adventure, Rip to Cabo, is now in its 12th year. At the beginning, we, like many others, just picked up a map and went the direct and easy way. That has since evolved to grander adventures. Today we explore the finest and most remote locations Baja has to offer, including single tracks and cow trails pioneered by living legends like Jimmy Soanes and Bill Nichols. Baja is a vast wilderness. Mountains, rock trails, arroyos, pine trees, dry lake beds, and many other unique looks. Some trails certainly aren't for everyone. The DA enters each trip with a serious plan, a solid group of riders, and a support group second to none that includes the Bulletproof Diesel remote pits, the Honda Motorcycles riding medics, and of course what I consider the very switched-on Desert Assassins chase crew. Sadly, we experienced the greatest loss in 2011, but it's in Jeff Ox Cargola's memory that we continue riding wheelies down the Baja Peninsula, continuing to share the beauty, adventure, and the people of this magical land with those bold enough to throw a leg over a bike, or with you stuck riding your couch or desk instead of a 450X with us. We have taken the time to share Baja with those willing to make the adventure or those interested in watching it unfold. The Desert Assassins are here to ride. I like to say it's a journey of a lifetime every time, so remember to put your smiles on, use your thinking caps. We have our largest rookie class ever on Rip to Cabo this year. We have 9 fresh fish on the bikes. Couple rookies I wanted to introduce. Ricky Brabeck, you guys, part of the factory Honda team.
Yeah, glad to have you here.
Dakar stage winner, National Hare and Hound champion, Baja 1000 winner. He's a pretty good dirt biker. Another rookie I'd like to introduce, Jackson Strong, AKA Jacko, all the way from Australia, freestyle motocross rider, gold medalist. He's gonna be traveling down the peninsula with us, having a good time.
I wonder what Jackson Strong has got to surprise us all with.
Oh, Jack's got it! Oh, wow!
Jackson Strong from Lockhart, Australia.
Jacko comes back after evaluation and pulls a front flip.
Helicoptered to the hospital, helicoptered back. Brian Deegan picks him up and valets him to the event, and he pulls a front flip.
The Rip to Cabo for me, I think it came about from my agents, Bob Walker and Ryan Hagee, a long-time Rip to Cabo veteran. So they've been talking about it for years, and one thing led to another. For me, dirt bike riding, I'm normally out there for a couple hours each day at home, just doing 10-minute sessions at a time on the ramps and then in the foam pit. So it's not like I spend a whole lot of time on the bike.
His first time not only riding a trail ride like this, but his first time ever in Baja, as far as I can tell, on a dirt bike. Is that true?
Yeah, 100%.
A total of 60 DA brothers will cross into Baja for the 2017 Monster Energy Rip to Cabo presented by Honda Motorcycles.
Okay guys, we're ready to go through. The border officials are asking everybody to line up 2 by 2 and to stay in one line. Do not use
My name is Fred Sobke. I'm from San Diego, California. This is my 5th Rip to Cabo.
Here we go again, another ride. Love you, buddy.
Yeah, we have permission from both states, Baja California Sur and Baja California. So we've got a whole stack of letters, about 50 pages in total. Since they're promoting tourism and we're bringing tourism down, it's good to work together with them. We're trying to do things the right way, and it's better to have support.
As we cross the U.S.-Mexico border, we have a little over 200 miles slated for day 1 to San Felipe along the Sea of Cortez. Not one of our tougher days as it features many graded roads, but there's amazing vistas throughout Baja's pine forest.
Chris Voorhees. I'm from Canyon Lake, California, and this is my 4th Rip to Cabo. You know, for years I spent just politicking, trying to get on the ride, and I was just so enamored by watching it on TV and seeing what these guys were going through. And I finally got, you know, the nod from Cameron that I was gonna get to go 4 years ago. And I was maybe a day into the trip and I realized that I was gonna come every year I could.
Mostly open running lies ahead, which gives the riders a chance to stretch their legs, like 11-time Baja 1000 winner Johnny Campbell.
Johnny Campbell, Murrieta, California. I started riding the Rip to Cabo back in 2010. The Rip to Cabo has evolved into a really polished program. Cameron's done a really good job of getting really good help, really good personnel, but also the equipment that he uses and the quality of riders has evolved. It was really cool this year. We were able to bring Ricky Brabeck down to the Rip.
I race motorcycles for Johnny Campbell, JCR Racing here in the States. I race for HRC Rally, doing Dakar and the World Championship Series. I've always wanted to do it. You know, I've never been able to come out here and explore the open desert without worrying about racing. You know, obviously the ride is dangerous, but it's way safer than racing at full speed. So it really helped me to come down here and take off, you know, 7 days of training physically and just enjoy the ride, enjoy the routes that I came from, which is trail riding.
120 miles into the ride, we make a stop to pay respect to one of moto's greatest legends, Kurt Caselli. In 2013, Kurt was leading the Baja 1000 when it's thought he collided with an animal. He was one of the kindest and most determined individuals I have ever met. He was certainly a natural on the bike. 40 miles further south, we remember a man who was like a son to me. In 2011 on our ride, Jeff Ox Cargola crashed in the whoops outside San Felipe. It's Jeff's amazing personality and awesome attitude that's on our minds while we continue riding south of the border. Both our fallen brothers will always be missed, and we ride on in a way that would make them proud. As the sun gets close to dipping behind Diablo Peak, the highest in Baja at 10,154 feet, we gather on Diablo Dry Lake as we head to San Felipe. Brotherhood is the vibe of Rip to Cabo, and there's nothing like riding side by side, popping wheelies that can bring a group of guys so different from each other at home so close together. As is customary, we gather for a group photo as we end our day under the iconic San Felipe arches.
I feel like I'm about 85 years old and I think I'm the tightest I've ever been. Time for a cold beer, shower, and a big sleep. I need to catch up on some sleep.
Stay tuned for more from the world of X Games. Welcome back to the world of X Games.
The 2017 Rip to Cabo is brought to you by Monster Energy, Honda Motorcycles, Maxxis Tires, and Method Race Wheels. Lighter, stronger, faster.
Day 2 of the Rip. We started south out of San Felipe. We had kind of a long pavement section there that took us right to the beginning of the rock trail, just below Portecitas.
Rock trail's no joke. It's just like it's called. It's got a lot of rock, a couple little hill climbs, some little steep sections. So it's going to give everybody a pretty big challenge. I'm predicting a few tip overs and some guys getting a little spent in the rocks.
The rock trail, I don't know what I'm excited for yet. Normally everything I do on a motorcycle is really calculated and planned, but out here it's actually more nervous for me doing this stuff than what I normally do because you do not know what's around the corner. So I'm just trusting in my two good pals right here that they're pointing me in the right direction, and we're sending it.
You know, Jacko was asking questions like, hey, what's the ride gonna be like? What's the trail gonna be like? And, you know, if Bob Walker can do it, then I figured it's gonna be a holiday for me, is what his words were.
All right, well, they're off to the rock trail. Rip to Cabo continues out near Portecitas. It's a barrel of laughs. Let's use.
You know, heading to the rock trail, you kind of had a little bit of time to ponder of, like, are these guys gonna make it? Is it gonna be hot? You know, who's gonna struggle? It was only day 2 of the Rip, and we're going like on the most demanding trail of the trip.
I don't think I can describe the rock trail and you guys wouldn't be able to print it because it'd be a whole lot of bleeps. That trail sucks.
Day 2 is arguably the toughest day of the trip. I'm gonna say it's the toughest 3 to 4 hours of the trip. There's times in there where you're asking yourself, what am I doing here? Who am I? Why am I following these guys? Why did I pay to go on this?
The rock trail is built by a guy known as the Rock Man for a reason. He loves rocks. It starts with 11 miles of the softest sand wash imaginable, loaded with rocks and whoops, before making the first uphill climb onto the mesa, which is usually a pretty good show. Once on the red volcanic rocks, the temperatures soar as you battle about 14 miles of loose rocks and climbs where you get to understand the rock trail.
So once we got through the sand wash, you know, everyone kind of groups up the trailhead.
Bob, second.
There's this big, sketchy climb that's got a few left-hand turns and some rock obstacles that you have to get over. And there's this one ledge, it's probably, you know, a little above your knees, and it's one of those ledges that you're not gonna get over without dabbing your foot.
Slow, walking slow. And that is Jackson Strong, ex-Games gold medalist here on the rock trail. We're having a little bit of fun here on Bill Nichols' creation.
Bill's a madman. Jacko's a different kind of madman for sure.
You know, Ricky Braybeck's a beast. He's a big guy. I just think you need that strength to really kind of power through the rocks and all the different types of terrain that Baja has to offer. So watching him was, you know, was motivation for me.
It's really, it beats you up, mentally and physically. There's a couple times when I was having trouble breathing. It was hot, it was dusty, my arms hurt, my legs hurt.
Everybody good?
Once you get up to the top of the first climb, it's kind of deceiving. Like, you know, you're looking at it from afar and it just looks like a hard-packed rocky trail, and then you just enter into these just big boulders that do not stop.
It was challenging for the first mile in, and then it got more technical and slow, and the heat turned off. So a lot of guys got a little bit overheated.
Whatever you do, don't stop. Just keep going. Even if you got to go slow, because stopping is just the worst thing ever. You know, in the rock, you can't, there's so many big rocks and they're all loose. You can't ever, like, get a rhythm. So if you stop, you just hard to get going again.
The trick to riding terrain where it's just full of rocks is to keep your momentum. Riding a higher gear so the rear tire's not spinning as fast, because then you lose all your traction. So, you get guys like Cameron who, they're kind of fearless when it comes to the rocks, and that might just be something that you're born with.
Where the is it in?
I got overheated. It was 102. It's 45, 50 in Seattle.
Not used to this.
It's 95 right now, and it was 102 at the hottest one it's been.
Yeah. You're here now. I mean, now it's all single track back then. You're gonna be all right.
Yeah, I definitely was cooked, but we have awesome medics.
So on the Desert Assassin trips, I've got a lot more confidence than just going down there on my own, because we have the Honda medics, and they're medic support riders that follow us down the entire peninsula. And, their jobs are safety. I've seen them have to put the gloves on and get to work. The way they work together and really show their experience as medics is eye-opening, and it's comforting to know that they're behind me on the trail. And, without that support, I think going into these rides, it would be a lot more intimidating knowing that they're not behind us.
I realized that you just got to get into a rhythm and just keep pushing through. And once I did that, the hours just ticked away faster and faster. And yeah, we got it done, and it was fun. If we do this trail again next year on the Rip, I want to make sure we go back to the rock trail, because knowing what I know now about the motorcycle, by the end of the Rip, I kind of wish the rock trail was further to the end, so I was a lot more comfortable on the bike.
As much as I hate that trail, I love it because, misery loves company. I know I was having a hard time. It's fun, but it's definitely challenging.
Everybody kind of kept their wits about them, and we got through it. A few guys got cactus. A couple guys probably fell down a little bit, but overall, the group did really good, and they moved pretty well through there. I was really surprised, and that was a real true test for this group of putting the guys through the paces on the second day.
After the rock trail, the boys get a chance to switch gears as they jam through freshly blooming cereus trees and giant cardone cactus on our way to Catavina. It's obvious the JCR boys, Johnny and Ricky, have an epic flow going with Baja. A quarter of the way down the Baja Peninsula, the cactus fields are spectacular, and this area is home to one of my favorite flora, the cereus, or boojum tree. The Never Never is also home to our last obstacle of the day, Dead Cow Canyon. It's a tight and technical way to end the day with more rocks before heading into our night 2 destination of Catavina.
Another amazing day on the trail pulling into Catavina today. We did, I don't know how many miles we did, I really don't care, but it was a full day of rocks, Bill Nichols Rock Trail. It was a good way to earn the rest of the single track, which took us into Catavina. What a freaking beautiful day. Whoever cuts these trails in, man, amazing stuff out here.
On this night, we invited the entire town of Catavina to fiesta with us.
It's pretty cool, we spent a lot of time in Baja, and to be honest, kids are super close to our heart. Obviously, all of us have kids, and Rip Cabo comes down here, and we want to ride, but we also want to, interact. So, made dinner for town tonight here in Catavina. We had the Maricial here at the hotel. Invite everybody around town, and just come down. Beautiful sunset, great people. Kids are stoked. Hand out some goods, and ride dirt bikes, share a little bit, high fives. It's all good.
This is my first time down in, well, I guess really down in Mexico, and it's a massive eye-opener to the way of life. It's definitely different. I wouldn't say it's better or worse to other places that I've been. It's just different, and it's cool to come and show the kids how things are done in different countries, and they really appreciate the little gifts and things, and as we appreciate their hospitality and their awesome riding spots.
Stay tuned for more from the world of X Games.
Welcome back to the 2017 Monster Energy Rip to Cabo presented by Honda Motorcycles. There's big anticipation for this day as we head out on one of the more fun sections of the trip.
So day 3 on this trip, we left Catavina and we pulled out onto a pretty amazing trail. I think Jimmy Sones built the trail roughly like 2003. And the trail, even getting to the trailhead's super fun.
Come down on the Rip to Cabo because it's something we really enjoy. It's something that we feel is beneficial for the guys that come down here. We get closer. It's got team building activity for the guys from Bulletproof Diesel. I think it's pretty important for us to be out here for these guys. They need fuel a lot of times in some pretty remote locations that there's not many vehicles that can make it back in there. These Bulletproof Diesel trucks are tailor set up for doing this, and it's a lot of fun to do.
Well, just another adventure in the Baja, and of course hanging out with my good buddy Jimmy Sones, the trail maker. This is the camper shell. Not much left of it here, but Jimmy, when you first got here, it was an actual...
All the metal, windows, door, it was all on there, but over the years, it just seemed to come apart.
So actually, it's been laying in the grass where no one can see it, but a couple of the boys stood it up so you can see it. This is one of those iconic landmarks that nobody ever goes to. Jimmy, how did you put this together?
A friend of mine found a very ancient map set, so we started exploring this way, but it showed this as a road, but it has never been a road. It never looked like a road.
Now it's one of those iconic landmarks and legendary trails, and all it's left to do for the Rip to Cabo is ride it. Thanks, buddy.
Miles with smiles.
Rick.
Got to the trailhead for the camper shell and took some photos right on the camper shell. And as we headed into the trail, we started to get a little competitive, and it was nice single track and a little rocky.
Drop into some sandy single track, and then you just get into this hard pack single track that it kind of gets rockier as you go, but it's you know, it's tight, and there's a lot of tight corners. It's just majestic. There's something about it that you can't put into words. You know, props to Jimmy Sones for building it way back when. I mean, guys like that have cut trail for all of us riders that are generations behind them to kind of still share that same experience.
As you can see, we're here on the camper shell trail, one of the rock sections, and Jimmy was talking about when he originally made the trail, and this is one of his original flags. It's still hanging out here. You can see the pink ribbon still kind of on it, but that's how he marked the trail. See a lot of work to get through something like this. Hang out, watch a couple guys come through here real quick.
We pulled up on the edge of this cliff, and it just, Baja is in bloom, so amazing right now that the view was crazy. I think almost every guy stopped and just took it in for 5 or 10 minutes and looked at what was around us. And you know, you're in this itty bitty canyon on a single track, staring at boulders and stuff and cliffs all around you, and cactus right now is so in bloom that it just wants to eat you up. And then you look around and it's just this gorgeous valley.
Jimmy definitely put in epic work to carve out moto fun for all. Continuing to the Pacific side of the peninsula, we get to ride some of Baja's seemingly forgotten coastline known as the Seven Sisters for the 7 points jutting into the Pacific. At 150 miles on the day, we fueled the bikes and riders before reaching one of the toughest trails of the trip, the Grande Vista.
So the Grande Vista is another trail that was built by Bill Nickel, and it's another rocky trail. You know, you're riding the coastline, it's beautiful. Generally, it's towards the end of the day, so you know when you get to that trailhead that, you know, dinner's near. You know, it's just this big rocky hill that kind of has switchbacks going up the face of it, and you know, it's one of those trails where people struggle getting up, and you really got to space apart. Otherwise, if you get bunched up on the, you know, on the face of the hill, then it just creates problems. And then you get to the top and you just have this panoramic view. And then when that's over, you look forward and you just see nothing but rocks. Highway 1 off to your left and the Pacific Coast off to your right, and it's just breathtaking. It's such a beautiful view that you kind of just sit there and take a few deep breaths and take it all in. A lot of times we'll sit up top and do some cool shots with the helicopter, just because it's one of those magical places. You know, you feel alive again. You feel recharged as you come down the hill and ready for dinner.
As the sun rises in Guerrero Negro, the guys prepare for what should be one of the easiest days of Rip to Cabo.
I believe these trucks, these Raptors as chase trucks, are essential for a lot of reasons. Number one, I think that having these trucks out here, you know, just in case like we have a rider that goes down, in conjunction with the Honda medic riders, if we have to extract somebody out of here who's not gonna be able to ride out on their bike, we can load them up.
With the short, easy day, there's time for another magical and rarely seen vista along the bluffs that the riders loved before heading to Scorpion Bay.
You are watching the World of X Games.
We just arrived in San Juanico, Southern Baja, end of day 4. Half the town came out to welcome all these riders, and everyone around here loves off-road racing and motorcycles, and they're excited to have the Rip to Cabo group arrive in San Juanico and stay here for the first time. A lot of the guys in the group are really good surfers, and I know Sonny's made several trips down here, strike missions just to time swells. And
actually, it came down, I stayed here in this place. Got it really good. When it's good, it's one of the best ways in the world.
We are in San Juanico, Baja California, which is better known as Scorpion Bay. We had Jacko there with us, and he's from Australia, and he thinks it's kind of funny that everybody assumes he surfs because he comes from Australia.
When you say you're from Australia, everyone immediately goes, oh, surfer? But where I grew up 5 hours from any sort of ocean, so I was never really into surfing, never did it.
You know, we really wanted to get him out there in the water, wanted to teach him how to surf, and we have world champion surfer Sonny Garcia, one of the best surfers in the world. He's been riding with us for a number of years, and so Sonny and I, we kind of got together and we're like, man, we really got to get Jacko out there. Want to teach him how to get him on wave. He was a little bit scared, you know. He's a wild man and he can do things that people couldn't even dream of, but yet getting in the water was something that was super foreign to him and actually pretty scary.
My money's on Jacko going straight into the rocks if he gets up.
Got him out in the water, you know, pushed him on a wave. He stood up. It was a little bit hard, you know. He kept falling over, didn't know how to balance on the board and whatnot. But, man, he got a couple waves. And he was just so excited.
You kind of got to seize the opportunity to go out and paddle with Sonny Garcia. Not everybody gets that opportunity, so for that, it's pretty cool.
You know, all of us were catching a couple waves. You know, I caught a couple, Dodds caught a couple, and Sonny jumps up on a wave, and he just makes it look so amazing, you know? We're out there just kind of fumbling around, and he showed why he was a past world champion. You know, he rode this thing, I don't even know, 200+ yards probably, and just made it look amazing.
I've been friends with Sonny for quite a few years now, and it was pretty cool to have the veteran of surfing out there giving me pointers and pushing me in on waves and teaching me to surf. So I was stoked that I got to enjoy that with him, and just looking forward to, I guess, doing more surfing as well.
The boys didn't want to say goodbye to San Juanico, but with a beautiful day ahead, they got over it as we splashed our way into the La Prisma River Valley and the Palm Oasis that awaited. The Rip to Cabo continues down the peninsula, and sometimes you just come across the landmarks you have to stop and take a look at. We wanted to bring the boys here to the La Prisma Valley so they could see the El Pilon. It just, you know, when you ride by, you gotta stop and take a look. So it's 903 feet tall. It's one of those majestic spots on the Baja Peninsula, and just taking in the gander, the vistas is what this is all about. After passing through the beautiful landscapes of La Prisma, we made our way over to Commandu and the mission site that was established in the early 1700s. When you're traveling on the Baja Peninsula, whether it's by bike or by car, you gotta stop and you gotta smell the culture, you gotta meet the people, you gotta see the places. Here in Commandu, this is a beautiful palm valley. It's really warm here. It's over 100 degrees here today. Right behind me is the Commandu mission. Now this is a newer mission than was originally established. So the original mission site is off to the side where the park is now, but they recreated the mission so the culture would be alive here still.
Rip to Cabo 2017! Yeah!
As beautiful as Baja is, she can be vicious. You continually need to keep your head in what you are riding, always focused on the changing terrain.
Dog, let's get you moving up this way. Don't drive crazy, okay? Copy that. I'm right behind Cody, making my way towards you.
Someone go down?
Riley, the Canadian,
Oh, really?
in like a pretty bad spot.
Stay tuned for more from the world of X Games. You are watching the world of X Games.
Although Baja is a magical place, you can never let your guard down.
Dog, let's get you moving up this way. Don't drive crazy, okay? Copy that. I'm right behind Cody, making my way towards you.
Someone go down?
Riley, the Canadian,
Oh, really?
in like a pretty bad spot.
You all
I
right?
pulled a tee out, and the base of it was just square rocks, and I think he's right up the road, like 2 miles maybe.
The feeling is indescribable hearing over the radio that one of your brothers has gone down. It makes your mind wander to the worst places. For Riley, today just was not his day. He hit a rock kicker in the road going 60, sending him tumbling about 150 feet.
Well, we had an unfortunate turn of events here on day 6.
headed down some fire roads. Riley and I were fit gear. Came down and we hit a little river crossing, and there was a little G out.
Yeah, he just hit the kicker right there, doing about 60.
And we G'd out, came up, and next thing I knew, there was no sound next to me, and came up over the top of the hill, and Riley was just laying in the middle of the road out cold. So came up on him, checked him out. He was sleeping. He was out for about 5 minutes. It's just that quick, you know. We were having a great time just dicing on this whole road for the last, I don't know, 30, 35 miles.
We're hauling.
And then all of a sudden, you know, tragedy strikes, and we get a guy going down this hard. It sucks, but shook me up a little bit. But to see your buddy just laying in the middle of the road, unconscious, is never something you want to come up on. So luckily, we've got crazy amount of medics on this trip, and you know, immediately we had Brooke show up, and he immediately took care of the scene. Ben followed up with that, and then now we've got Dodds and Yeti on this, so he's in good hands.
Both sides of that helmet was ripped up.
Probably good.
He was like whap, whap.
It's rough terrain out here, you know. It's not paved. There's rocks everywhere. There's ditches everywhere, and you got dust to deal with where you can't really see that well. You know, all it takes is one rock out here, and it just knocks your front tire out, and you're on the ground. So it's dangerous. You got to be careful.
Took a look at him. His blood pressure, everything, all of his vitals look good. Probably a right collarbone fracture. He was knocked out for a little while. So better to be safe than sorry. We're gonna utilize Heli Gym, take him to La Paz, get some x-rays, get a CT scan, make sure everything's good to go, and hopefully we'll be seeing him tonight.
He's going to be transported to La Paz via helicopter for precautionary reasons, and then the heli is going to come back out to us on the coast. As you guys can plainly see, and you all know, you're all smart dirt bike riders, we're not messing around out here. This is dangerous stuff.
It's never good to see anybody hurt. You know, I wasn't on the trip when Ock got hurt, so for me, that was just kind of like brought flashbacks of what I thought might have happened to Ox. You know, definitely feeling for Riley. You know, you never like to see anybody getting hurt, and the kid's super nice kid. I got to room with him that night. You know, first thing in the morning, he's hurt, so wasn't a great feeling seeing him laying on the ground.
Like Sonny, it takes me to a bad place hearing about any crash. Thankfully, Riley ended up being fine, and we continued to the Baja Grand Canyon.
The Baja Grand Canyon was so pretty. You know, we're all focused to getting to the end of the trail or, you know, whatever, but like I said, this year I really tried to soak it all in the entire 7 days. Grand Canyon was gorgeous. It was epic. I'm so glad that we went through that area.
The Baja Grand Canyon is a visual statement to why we ride Baja. We take a quick stop at another epic bay for lunch before heading to one of my favorite spots right on the Sea of Cortez. The El Machudo rock formation is 70 miles north of Baja Sur's capital city of La Paz. Riding by this iconic landmark elevates the senses. The riders are amped on the amazing vistas as we close in on the final night before arriving in Cabo.
Stay tuned for more from the world of X Games. Welcome back to the world of X Games.
The 2017 Rip to Cabo is brought to you by Monster Energy, Honda Motorcycles, Baja Designs, the scientists of lighting, and Lucas Oil Products, made in America, sold to the world. Welcome back to the 2017 Monster Energy Rip to Cabo, presented by Honda. Got the boys up early, which we've been doing all week, actually, but Baja Sur offers a lot of different looks, whether it's Palandra Beach or the Whale Sharks. And of course, our host, Rogelio and Pudia got up early to get us on the boat, and a few of us are gonna go check out the whale sharks and have a little bit of fun, Baja style.
Yeah, so here we are just outside of La Paz, and we just jumped in with the whale sharks. Rogelio was nice enough to bring us out here, and man, I live in the water. I'm in the water every day. Typically, we're running away from sharks, but this is actually a whale shark. But I've wanted to come out and do this for years, and just never found the right time to do it. And opportunity popped up this morning. We came out. It was awesome. Just being in the water with something so big and so graceful. So, loving it.
We have success. We've been seeing some whale sharks, and some of the boys have been in the water swimming with them. I think that's the life we lead, cruising the Baja Peninsula here in La Paz. Unfortunately, we got to get geared up and go ride our dirt bikes, so everybody else is probably waiting back at the hotel revving the bikes going, where are those guys?
Yo, here we are, day 7 in La Paz. Looks like we have probably under 200 miles. We're gonna head out to the Pacific coast and then down to Cabo. I think everyone's excited and sad at the same time. You know, we've been riding together 6 days now. You get to know people. The whole experience has been great.
Leaving El Centenario outside La Paz, we head to the steps. Up first are the deep whoops, leading us into the steps. That can be ledges a couple feet high that you need to hop up.
Steps on the last day was good. I've been down them, but going up them was fun. The hoops are deep, the rocks are big. You just got to keep moving forward and trying to stay on top.
Love the steps. One of the fun parts of the southern tip down here at Baja. We usually ride them down every year, but this year we get to go up them. And the whoops are bigger than the tops of Volkswagens. You can't get any rhythm in them, so my secret is you ride the walls, you cut across with a 45, ride the wall, 45, zigzag your way up.
That's a good way to start any morning. We just rode the steps out of La Paz, and that was so much fun. The whoops were so big, and then going up the rock trail was sick. That's how everyone should start every day.
So the brotherhood that happens naturally on trail is because of the situations that we put ourselves through. And it's the trails that we go and the remote areas that we've been, and in these situations where the only people to help you are your brothers on trail. I think that's what creates these bonds with all of us, and it's really what makes this whole trip that special.
You meet just different types of people from different walks of life, different income levels, different careers. You know, it's character building. You get a chance to talk with guys that you normally wouldn't have a chance to talk with, and you know, you also get to share the experience with your friends, whether they're your friends that you grew up with riding or friends that you work with.
Mentally, it's not easy either, and just having someone to talk to and, you know, just to get through the trail sometimes is good.
I never understood the hype about riding into Cabo. Everyone said how cool it was going to be when we come in and walk down the beach and jump in the water. And I didn't really understand that. But I think it's something you have to do in real life to just understand the feeling of spending 7 days getting bashed around on a dirt bike and then finally pulling up on the beach.
You know, for a lot of us, our friends and family are waiting for us in Cabo. And maybe the fresh fish don't know this yet, but when you come around the corner and you can see Land's End, and you know that's the final destination, the excitement that you get, the goosebumps that you have, even for someone like me who's done this over and over and over, it's awesome.
Last day, 2017 Rift to Cabo, unbelievable trip. I can't even, I'm speechless again every year, but this one was nice. Got to hang out with a lot of new people, 9 fresh fish on this trip, and a lot of good guys, a lot of fun people. Not a huge mileage trip, but man, was it fun to be able to get to know everybody and hang out.
This was my first experience at Baja, and it's one that's going to go in the history books. I had the funnest times I've had on a dirt bike down here. Different to the normal dirt bike I ride, but
it's opened my mind up to life's just not about ramps. So I'm looking forward to having a new pastime, and that's off-road, and coming back and enjoying Baja with all the boys.
What an epic way to end an amazing journey with the mariachis at the end of the trail. I gotta tell you, it's hard to think about anything else other than my family when I'm traveling down the peninsula. You know, we're super stoked to be able to spend the time on the peninsula, share it with our brothers. Everybody's safe. The 2017 Monster Energy Rip to Cabo presented by Honda Motorcycles is officially done. Well, the riding part is done. Now we're gonna go into the office, start the factory canopies party, and jump in the Madonna Bay to our traditional cleansing of the gear, so to speak. With thoughts of our brothers no longer with us, we celebrate another epic Rip to Cabo, and thank you for joining us. For more on the DA, find us on social media.